listen, the best laid plans of mice and men don't work out all the time. By a point of introduction, my name is Tim. I'm with the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. We are the nonprofit organization that brought you the Wall That Heals to your wonderful community. When you look back in our 31-year history that we've taken to the wall to over 800 communities, we've been to South Dakota very, very infrequently. In fact, only 6 times in those 31 years. 3 times we went to that motorcycle rally that you guys host down here in August for some strange reason. And the other 3 times to other communities. But this is the first time that this modern rendition of the Wall That Heals has been here. The Wall That Heals is one of 4 traveling walls that travels the country. And what you're sitting before here today is a 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. You realize the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was something unique to our nation. We had never in our 200-year history in 1976 had a memorial on the National Mall to honor and memorialize everyone who served in a wartime period. Think back to all those wars in our first 200 years. The Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the Civil War, the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, and the Korean War. We didn't have a memorial on the National Mall to everybody who served. We honored generals, we honored units, but we had never honored everybody who served, everybody who had put on a uniform. And it was those Vietnam veterans who came back and sat there and said, this is how we were treated. This is how horribly we're treated. And the gift that they gave us was to step forward and say, we're going to create a memorial that's going to heal a nation. I'm not going to look at any of you guys straight in the eyes when I say this, but some of you guys know back to those days. Know back to how those veterans were treated when they came back. And for them to flip that on its head, for them to sit there and say, hey, I want to make certain that we set the standard on how we take care of our veterans, was a gift that they gave to our nation. Those veterans gathered and said to put together a nonprofit organization, and in the first 6 months of their existence, they only raised $287. And a national talk show host, you know how we love our talk show hosts late at night, a comedian, sat there and said, look at these ragtag Vietnam veterans, they can't even put together money for their own memorial. And that galvanized the nation. That galvanized the nation to raise $8 million in the span of 18 months to come and build that memorial. And when they dedicated that memorial in 1982 on the National Mall, we then had the opportunity to honor and memorialize those Vietnam veterans. While it lists the 58,281 men and women who died, it's in honor of all 3 million who served in uniform in country and all 8 million who served during their time in service during the Vietnam era. So I thank you very much for being here today. I think we finally have power. Make sure you tip your waiters, and you all have a great day.
Well, thank you guys for your patience, and I just want to officially welcome you all to the Wall That Heals. We are so proud that the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund chose Brookings to host the Vietnam Wall, or the Wall That Heals. This would not be possible without our sponsors. So give a shout out to Visit Brookings, the Daughters of American Revolution, the Brookings County, and of course the City of Brookings. And then all of our amazing donors throughout that are supplying all of our volunteers with a lot of food all week long. So we couldn't have done it without all of this support. Again, welcome, and we are so excited that you're here. I also want to, today we dedicate this chair in honor and recognition of the prisoners of war missing in action and their families. This chair serves as a visible reminder that while many have returned home, others remain unaccounted for. Okay. And their absence continues to be felt by loved ones and our nation. The chair remains empty, not because it lacks a place to be filled, but because it symbolizes those who cannot be with us here today. It stands as a promise that they will not be forgotten, and that we will continue to honor their sacrifice, service, and their enduring legacy. As we gather at the wall that heals, may this chair honor remind us of our collective responsibility to remember those still missing, support their families, and ensure that their stories are never lost. We will never forget. Right now, I want to introduce Lars Perry, who will move us along in the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please stand for invocation. Gracious God, we gather today with reverence and gratitude as we open the wall that heals. In this space of remembrance, we honor the service of all who answered the call during the Vietnam War. Furthermore, we remember especially those whose names are inscribed on this wall, lives given, hope surrendered, and sacrifices carried in the hearts of their families, friends, brothers, and sisters in arms. Bless this place and every person who comes here seeking memory, peace, understanding, and healing. Comfort those who still carry grief. Strengthen those who bear wounds, seen and unseen. Surround our veterans and their families with honor, compassion, and the assurance that their service will not be forgotten. May this memorial be more than a monument. May it be a place where stories are shared, tears are received, gratitude is spoken, and healing begins anew. Teach us to be people who remember with humility, who honor with sincerity, and who work for the peace with courage. As we open this time of remembrance, may we do so in gratitude and in hope. Amen. Please remain standing for the posting of the colors.
Blood, hope. Live, peace. Present, hope.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good luck, peace. Order, arms. Colors, hope.
At this time, let me bring the mayor of Brookings up to the stand and
Halt. Left, rest. Right, rest.
Good morning. Welcome to our beautiful Fishback Soccer Complex. I'm Oepke Niemeyer. I have the pleasure of serving as mayor of the city of Brookings. On behalf of our city council, our community, and the people of Brookings, it is my honor to welcome you to the opening ceremony for the Wall That Heals. We are deeply humbled that Brookings was selected as one of 31 communities across the nation to host this powerful exhibit during its 2026 tour. It is the Wall's only stop in South Dakota this year. As our nation commemorates its 250th birthday this year, this gathering reminds us that freedom has always come at a cost. The Wall That Heals gives us an opportunity to remember the more than 3 million Americans who served during the Vietnam War and to honor the 58,281 men and women whose names are etched on this memorial because they made the ultimate sacrifice. We also recognize the many Vietnam veterans who returned home carrying the lasting impacts of their service. Through the exhibit's mobile education center and in memory program, we honor their stories, their sacrifices, and their enduring legacy. Over the coming days, I encourage everyone to spend time here to learn, to remember, to reflect, and thank the veterans and military families who have given so much to our nation. Our Vietnam veterans, we are grateful for your service, your courage, and your sacrifice. Your community stands with us, and today we honor you. Thank you all, the volunteers, organizers, veterans groups, sponsors, and supporters who made this event possible. I'd also like to thank all the city staff who have worked to make this possible, and give a special shout out to Kristin Zimmerman, director of our City Parks, Recreation, Forestry Department, who was instrumental in bringing this exhibit to Brookings. May this place be one of remembrance, healing, gratitude, and hope in the next several days. Thank you. And now we'll introduce Shawn Hostler, one of our county commissioners.
Go ahead and have a seat, everybody. Good morning and welcome. My name is Shawn Hostler. I'm chair of the Brookings County Commission this year. It is an honor to join you today as we gather in Brookings to recognize the Wall That Heals. For a few days, our community has the privilege of hosting the powerful memorial, a reminder of the sacrifices made for those who served during the Vietnam War and the true cost of freedom. This wall bears the name, of course, of over 58,000 Americans who gave their lives or remain missing as a result of the conflict. Behind every name is a story, a son, a daughter, brother, sister, husband, wife, friend, or neighbor. These are ordinary Americans who answered an extraordinary call to serve their country. For many Vietnam veterans, the journey home was not easy. Too often, they returned without the recognition or gratitude they deserved. Yet, they continued to serve their communities, raise families, and contribute to the nation they had defended. Today, we have the opportunity to say what we should have always said: welcome home and thank you. To every Vietnam veteran here today, thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and your courage. We are grateful for all you have done, and we are proud to honor you. This memorial also reminds us that freedom is not free. It has been secured by generations of Americans willing to place service above self. Their sacrifice challenges us to be worthy stewards of the freedoms we enjoy today. As you visit the Wall That Heals, I encourage you to pause and reflect on the names before you. Remember, not only these individuals died, but how they lived and the legacy they leave behind. May this memorial bring remembrance to those we lost, gratitude to those who served, and healing to those who visit. Thank you for being here today. May we never forget their service, their sacrifice, and their enduring legacy. God bless our veterans, their families, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Morning, my name's Matt Pillar. I'm the Brookings County Veterans Service Officer. I appreciate everybody coming out today, and especially Kristin for making this possible. I know how much effort she put into this and how important this was to her, and it was really inspiring to see her put forth that effort to make this all happen. So special thanks to her. As a veteran service officer, it's an honor and a privilege to help our Vietnam veterans get the benefits that they rightly deserve. And I know that hasn't always been an easy process for them. There's a lot of struggles in the beginning especially, and I'm happy to say that that struggle is lessened. It's not as hard as it used to be to get these Vietnam veterans and veterans in general, but especially our Vietnam veterans, these benefits that they deserve and they need, quite frankly. One of the first veterans I ever helped was a Vietnam veteran, had a heart condition. He was boots on the ground, and you know, as a new veteran service officer, I really had no idea what to do, but we figured it out together, and we got him the benefits that he deserves, and he's a good friend of mine to this day. And none of that would be possible without the advocacy of the Vietnam veterans put forth to help secure these veterans, to help raise awareness of the side effects of exposures to Agent Orange and other toxic substances. Those veterans continue to fight for this to this day. They continue to fight their war, and without their advocacy, veterans benefits wouldn't be what they are today. Guys like me that served in Afghanistan would not have the level of benefits that we have today without their advocacy. So it's been truly inspiring to see what they've been able to accomplish by coming together, and what they continue to accomplish with their advocacy continuing today. Another thing, as I'm going down a claim form, filling out information to work on getting benefits for veterans, it asks things like, are you homeless? Are you at risk of becoming homeless? Did you retire from the service? Were you ever a prisoner of war? But nowhere on that form does it ask if you were drafted, and I think that matters. You know, the U.S. military is a volunteer force, but not everybody had a choice. And I think that matters, and I think that holds weight. And I have a special place in my heart for you veterans out there that were drafted into service, that served honorably when it wasn't your choice to do so. And I think you deserve an extra round of applause for that. So thank you to those veterans in particular. That being said, thank you again, everybody, for coming out. And if you get a chance to listen to the tour, I thought I was pretty knowledgeable on the history of the Vietnam War, and I learned some things. So take the time, listen to what these people have to say. This is what they do. They're experts, very interesting. Enjoy your time here. God bless everybody. God bless America. And to my Vietnam brothers and sisters, welcome home.
If the ink runs, this will be a shorter speech. Good morning, Mr. Mayor, distinguished guests, fellow veterans, first responders, families, and friends. My name is Jeff West, and I'm a Vietnam veteran. I served in the Army with the 198th Light Infantry Brigade in Vietnam. So what do the wall and the wall that heals mean to me? For some people, it's just a memorial. For others, it's a history lesson. For me and other veterans, it's personal. I landed in Vietnam in December of 1968. And I began my one-year combat tour. Shortly after I arrived, I met a squad mate named Alex Jim Alvarez. Alex took me under his wing. He taught me how to survive in the jungle, what to look for and listen for, and recognize when things didn't feel right. Most importantly, he taught me how to stay alive. The funny thing is, Alex and I grew up 25 miles apart in Southern California. Me in conservative Orange County, and he in the barrios of Compton. Entirely different worlds. Yet in Vietnam, none of that mattered. What mattered was whether the man next to you will be there when things go bad. Alex was always there. We became close friends. We made plans for when we got home. We shared dreams the way young men do when they believe they have their whole lives ahead of them. We had each other's backs through more than one firefight. Then one day, he was gone. Alex was killed in action June 4th, 1969, 57 years ago last week. His name is on panel 23 West, line 94. At the wall that heals, I can touch his name, I can remember, I can honor his life, deal with the guilt of surviving, and let him know he will never be forgotten. That's what the wall means to me. The last lesson Alex taught me was one I learned the hard way. In a combat zone, you have a choice. You can keep people at arm's length and avoid becoming too close, or you can open your heart and accept that someday you may lose them. The first may protect you from grief. The second allows you to experience friendship and brotherhood unlike anything most people will ever know. Most of us chose the second, and many of us paid the emotional price. The wall that heals bears the name of 58,281 men and women. To visitors, they are a visual representation of the cost of war. To Vietnam veterans, those names are individual lives, stories, and losses. They are friends, brothers, people we knew, people we loved, people we miss. That's what the wall means to me. This memorial is called the Wall That Heals for a reason. I've watched veterans approach both the wall in Washington and the Wall That Heals. At first they're hesitant, respectful, sometimes fearful. Then they find the first name, then another. Suddenly they're no longer standing in front of a memorial. They have moved back in time, back to a place they may have spent decades trying to forget. When we came home from Vietnam, most of us were not celebrated. Many of us learned very quickly that it was easier not to talk about Vietnam. So we buried it. We acted like it never happened. I avoided it by moving to a larger city where no one knew me. We built careers, raised families, went to work every day. From the outside, life looked normal. Inside, many of us carried memories we never shared with anyone. Sooner or later, however, most Vietnam veterans find their way to the wall. And that's when the healing begins. But healing is not always gentle. Sometimes it means dredging up memories that have been buried for decades. Sometimes it means crying for the first time in years. Sometimes it means confronting pain you thought you'd left behind. For some veterans, peace comes quickly. For others, it takes years. Some never fully find it. So yes, the wall heals, but the healing process isn't pretty. It's often painful, brutal, and it's absolutely necessary. That's what the wall means to me. Before I volunteered for Vietnam, I served as a drill sergeant in an advanced infantry training company. Our job was to train young men for combat, boys really. We tried to teach them everything they needed to survive. Then at the end of their training, we handed them orders for Vietnam, and they left. We didn't have the communications we have today, so we never heard from them again. I don't know which of those young men are represented on the wall that heals, but I know some of them are. When I stand before this memorial, I think about them. I think about the responsibility we had to prepare them. I think about the sacrifices they made. That's what the wall means to me. The design of the wall was controversial. When it was first proposed, some people called it ugly. Some people called it a scar upon the landscape. Back then, I kind of thought that description was accurate. Vietnam was a scar upon our nation, our military, our politics, and our society. It divided Americans in ways that are still discussed today. But my feelings have changed over the years. Today, I think the wall is one of the most beautiful memorials ever created. Its beauty comes from its honesty. It doesn't glorify war. It doesn't attempt to explain war. It simply confronts us with the cost of war. 58,281 names. And that's what the wall means to me. There are three groups of people who visit the wall, or the wall that heals. Vietnam veterans, families and friends who lost loved ones too young, and people with no direct connection to the war. Yet all of them experience two things. First, they are overwhelmed by the sheer number of names. Second, they leave with a profound respect for the sacrifice those names represent. Because regardless of our backgrounds, our politics, or our connection to the war, we understand one universal truth. These men and women gave everything they had in service to their country, and they deserve to be remembered. They answered their country's call, they served, they paid the ultimate price. That's what the wall means to me. It's a place of remembrance, a place of grief, a place of healing, a place of honor. Most of all, it's a place where promises are kept. The promise that Alex Alvarez will never be forgotten. The promise that every name on this wall will continue to be remembered. The promise that future generations will understand the true cost of their freedom. And the promise that those who served and those who never came home will always have a place in the heart of this nation. Welcome home to my brothers and sisters, and thank you.
And can I ask everybody to please stand while we have the benediction?
Holy and merciful God, you know what sacrifice means because you sent your Son, Jesus, who gave his life so that all who believe in him will have everlasting freedom. When the time with the wall that heals draws to a close, may we pause once more in gratitude and remembrance. May we give thanks for every veteran honored here, for every family that has shared its sorrow and pride, and for every visitor whose heart is moved by the stories carried on this wall. When this memorial prepares to continue its journey, send your holy angels to accompany those who transport the wall that heals, to keep them safe as they travel. We also pray that the healing begun here will remain with us. For those who would have found comfort, deepen that peace. For those whose grief was stirred, bring gentle strength. For those who served and still carry the burdens of war, grant renewed courage, abiding support, and the dignity they deserve. Help us leave this place not only with solemn memories, but with a deeper commitment to honor our veterans, care for one another, and pursue the peace for which so much was given. May the names remembered here remain alive in our hearts. May the lessons of sacrifice shape our lives, and may your grace, given to us by Jesus, go with us. Amen.
Squad. Halt. Left face. Retrieve colors. Set arm. Forward arm. Right face. Forward march.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we bring this ceremony to a close, I want to take a moment to reflect on what happened the past 2 days. On Tuesday, the community stood together as a wall that heals arrived under escort. Yesterday morning, volunteers gathered at 8 a.m. to unload a trailer and begin the careful work of constructing the wall, panel by panel, name by name. Last night, as the sun set, taps was played. We were reminded why this memorial matters and why it continues to travel across America. Today's ceremony marks the beginning of several days of remembrance, reflection, and healing. The wall carries the stories of those who served, those who sacrificed, and those who never returned home. For many who will visit in the coming days, this will be a place to reconnect with memories long held close. For others, it'll be a chance to learn, to understand, and to honor men and women whose service shaped our nation. And for people like me, people who grew up with family members that served in Vietnam, these men and women were our heroes. Their service, their courage, and the way they carried themselves when they came home shaped us. Many in my generation and generations that followed chose to serve this country because of the example they set. They taught us what love of country looks like, not in words, but in sacrifice. Over the next several days, there will be guided tours, moments of quiet reflection. The sunset will bring taps. Each visitor will bring their own story, and every name on this wall will stand as a reminder of courage, service, and sacrifice. I encourage everyone to return. Bring your families, your neighbors, and especially those who need a quiet moment of remembrance.